As Roy Williams' club facing the interstate rival, and in the first half, Eric Pauly missing, but Richard Scott stealing the rebound, putting it up and in, so it's looking good for the Jayhawks. But the Wildcats claw and stay close. Anthony Bean scooping. That's Anthony Bean scooping, as opposed to Anthony Boone skeeping. Calvin Rayford DePauli. Kansas is up by 8 at the half, but Dana Altman's gang rallies. Vincent Jackson for 3, stays within 2 after free throws. He's not a hockey player, he's a skier. Jones, he goes baseline. K-State by 2, Roy Williams can't believe it. Jackson goes behind the back. Aaron Collier jams it, and Collier puts the collar on Kansas. K-State wins it by 7. Vincent Jackson with 25, up by 7 in the first half. Jeff Warren's shot no good. Chris Heller follows and hits. Tigers up by 8 at the break. Heller played like Heller. Yeah, he did. Up and in. Justice Thigpen says, who is this guy? Melvin Booker to Heller. He hammers it. Tigers up by 5. Norm Stewart says, I'm liking that kid. Javon Crude up the miss. Guess who's there? Heller, 20 points, career high. Missouri wins it by 4. Missouri had a 7-game losing streak during the season. The Tigers and their Big 8 finals opponent, Kansas State, combined to go 13-16 in the league this year. 14 teams in the nation were in the conference semis. We begin with LSU against number 6 Vanderbilt. Billy McCaffrey for the Commodores going through the D for the layup. Vandy up by 5. Dale Brown turns to Clarence Caesar. He says, come see and conquer. You know, the old weenie, weedy, weechy thing. And Caesar responds, hitting the leader. Then from downtown, got it. Eddie Fogler's team wonders if they can answer. They resort to 3. Ronnie McMahon hits the long one and is fouled. Then Kevin Anglin going deep. Vandy's up by 6. Dale Brown praying for one more run. Andre Owens responds, penetrating to Sean Gibson. He slams. Tigers are up by 4. And LSU gets the break. Gert Hamming to Mike Hansen, lays it up and in. And the Tigers win it by 10. So the SEC's regular season champion goes down, and so goes the Commodores' chances to land the #1 seed in an NCAA region. Vandy had won 9 in a row. Another unbelievable start. Jamal Mashburn scoring 12 points in the first 4 minutes. Wildcats scored the first 17 of the game. Arkansas coming back. Darrell Hawkins laying it up and in. Arkansas within 6 at the break, and they're right in it. Second half, Arkansas keeps on coming. Roger Crawford forcing the turnover. Scotty Thurman slams. Razorbacks down by only 2. Kentucky hangs on, though. Travis Ford drains it. 6 from downtown for him, and Kentucky wins it by 11. Travis Ford goes for 26 for the Cats. Kentucky fans go through the snow to set a Rupp Arena attendance record, beating Friday's mark by 23 for its 2nd league tournament title in its last 3 years. 3 inches of snow down Carolina way. Second half, Virginia makes a run. Cornell Parker to Junior Burrow. Get out of his way. Jeff Jones's Cavs are within 4 points. Then Parker. Ted Jeffries lays it up and in. Carolina's lead down to only 2. And then the lights go out. Who will light it up? Half an hour later, it's Eric Montrose helping the Tar Heels on a 14-2 run. And then strong on the boards, Donald Williams drives, misses George Lynch, and Montrose keep it alive, and Williams scores, and Carolina wins it by 18. The win moves Dean Smith past the late Henry Iba and into 2nd place on the all-time NCAA coaching win. Final 2 minutes, Derek Phelps going in on the break. Jason Williford trying to strip him, and Phelps goes down hard, landing on his lower back. He did not move for a while after getting hurt, and they removed him from the stretcher, from the arena on a stretcher, and there was quite a bit of worry about his condition. We'll tell you about him in just a minute. He appears to be okay. It was a reminder of January 29th, 1984. UNC was 17-0 when Kenny Smith went down against LSU. Don Redden slammed him down. Smith broke his wrist, never fully recovered, and Carolina lost in the Eastern Regionals to Indiana. The latest on Phelps is that he has a severe bruise of the tailbone. After suffering numbness in his legs immediately after the injury, Phelps regained strength. Initial x-rays showed no fracture, and Phelps was released to the team's hotel. His status for Sunday's championship game was called uncertain. In the other semi, it was Clemson against Georgia Tech. Drew Barry zipping it inside. James Forrest puts it down, and the Jackets are up by 2. Clemson getting a gun from outside in Chris Whitney. That's an NBA 3. Tigers coach Dale Ellis liking what he sees. Tigers playing well in the second half. Sherrod right underneath, slamming it down. He had 15, but Georgia Tech passes him. Travis Best, Forrest with a great reach on the alley-oop. Jackets by 5, and then Barry to Forrest lays it up and in. 13 assists, a career high for Drew Barry, and Tech wins it by 8. James Forrest leads all with 29 points. After skidding toward the end of the season by losing 4 out of 5, the Yellow Jackets in Square Garden. Syracuse on probation against St. John's. Adrian Autry starts it and finishes it. Syracuse is on a 16-2 run. Play was interrupted twice because of a leaky roof. And, Coach Mahoney wondering if he's going to get help from above. No, Conrad McRae rejecting. Chanel Scott stays with it, though. Gets the follow still. It's Syracuse by 7 at the break. In the second half, Syracuse maintains control for Jim Boeheim. Lawrence Moten from Autry jams it down, and Syracuse moves on, winning by a dozen. The Orange Men are not allowed to appear in the NCAA tournament, nor will they be able to accept an NIT bid, but they can still win the Big East Championship. The weather, was it delightful, or some call it just frightful? Late in the first half, inside, Dickie Simpkins denied by Luther Wright. Late in the first half, Terry DeHare inside, puts it up and in, hauls up by 11. Second half, Providence roars back. Michael Smith hammers it down. PC's within 5. Late in the second, though, Terry Porter can't stop that. He nails it, and Seton Hall wins it by 9. So Seton Hall's roll keeps on going. Pirates have won 10 in a row now. Big East Player of the Year, Terry DeHare, scoring 28 points in the game, and their matchup in the NCAA round of 8. This season, the two teams split a pair of games. They met again this evening for the Great Midwest title, and it was at the Pyramid, Memphis State's home. Cincinnati coach Bob Huggins getting a technical. The Bearcats are up 9 at the time, but that leads Memphis State on a 7-0 run. Anthony Hardaway fights away, and the Tigers cut the lead to 2. 17 seconds left. Keith Gregor at the line. Clang. And the ball comes to Anthony Hardaway with a chance to put the Tigers ahead. He sees the opening, but it quickly closes. It's an offensive foul against Hardaway. That's number 5 for him. He's gone. Tigers still get another chance with less than 8 seconds to go. Leon Mitchell throws it away, though. Cincy wins 77-72, so you can make it 6 out of 7 for Cincy against Memphis State, including 2 Great Midwest Conference Championship games in the automatic NCAA bid. Brian Grant to Aaron Williams, backdoor. Musketeers up by 3 at the half. Pete Gillen's club. Cold as the weather. Steve Gentry coming up shy. Xavier misses 14 straight shots. Evansville capitalizes. Sasha Hoopman hits. Well, they go to the NCAAs with those really ugly uniforms. But, yeah, Evansville is in there for the 3rd time in the last 5 years. The Purple Aces have won 17 of their last 19 games. It was an early wake-up call for Western Michigan and Ball State. The Mid-American Conference Championship game was at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time on Saturday. Leon McGee to Evon Sanders for the hoop. Western Michigan up by 5 early. Cardinals come back. Jamie Matthews spins, drives, lays it off. Steve Payne up and in off glass. Payne with 14 in the first half. Then Dick Hunsaker gets Jamie Matthews going in a big way. From outside, stops, pops, nails it. And he was fouled. In the second half, more of Mr. Matthews. Spins, pivots, comes back, nails it. Ball State by 15. And Ball State goes to the ball, the big dance for the 3rd time in the last 5 years. Jamie Matthews is 31 points. Look even more impressive when you consider that his season average was 10.8 per game. At the Western Athletic Conference Championship game in Salt Lake City, New Mexico over Texas El Paso by 11. So we go for this one, and Rodney Odom misses, but Jermaine Parker with the rebound and the hoop, and the 49ers are ahead by 13 at the half. Denny Crum says to Clifford Rozier, step it up a bit. He does. The feed to Dwayne Morton, he slams it. James Brewer now from outside, 4-3, Louisville by 3. Jeff Mullen says, come on, guys, we can get back into this game. They don't. Rozier, wild-looking shot, somehow drops. Louisville takes it by 12, coming from way back to win it. So here are the numbers for the Metro semis. Louisville winning a 2-12 league season with a first-round upset of TCU. We see Texas Tech against TCU, and Will Flemings having reason to smile. Dominated the game throughout, and then Flemings rejecting Brent Atwater. That leads to a Jason Sasser runner. It goes up and in. Mo Iba not too happy. TCU down a dozen. TCU down a dozen at the half. More Flemings in the second half. 21 points, 11 boards. TCU says, that's the way it goes for us here. Scoreboard at the Southwest Conference semifinals. It was Jawan Howard at the free throw line. Rob Pelinka follows the miss. And on the inbounds pass, thank you very much, Chris Webber is there, and Michigan is up by 4 at the break. And that margin would get kind of fat in the second half. An 18-4 run. Jalen Rose to Webber. He goes over the shoulder to Ray Jackson for the jam. And then Webber returning the favor, looking for Rose. The final margin is 26. It was the Wolverines' 17th straight win over the Wildcats. Michigan finishes with a 15-3 record in the conference, 26-4 overall.
Charlotte, good evening, Mr. Phelps. The injured Derrick watching his replacement at the point. Henrik Rodel going to Pat Sullivan, Carolina by 7. But the Heels couldn't see the forest through the trees. James Forrest of Georgia Tech. And look at him on Kevin Salvadori, educating and excavating. Tech by 4 at halftime. After the break, Brian Reese muscling up, misses the tray, comes in, gets his own miss. An 11-0 run for Dean and company. But it was the sophomore Forrest on the way to 27 huge points, strong with the left hand. Then inside the minute mark, Yellow Jackets going for the upset. They lead by 5, and it's Reese from way downtown. Bang. Tech gets a free throw. The lead is 3 again. Reese from way downtown to tie. Clank. Tech upsets the Heels 77-75. Forrest adds 10 rebounds to grab the tournament MVP award, and the Yellow Jackets shock the nation's #1 team, and it makes all the difference in the NCAA tournament. Well, no, not really. And again from way downtown. Bang. And from Travis, don't call me today's best. Bang. Dale Brown thought the Wildcats would be in trouble without their starting center, Rodney Dent, but KY simply went deep. Travis scored 6 of them. Might as well have been calling it a touchdown. Travis eventually left doing his Michael Jordan impression. Even Jamal Mashburn hit one against LSU, and the Wildcats win by $333,333,333,333. Even with Dent denied, or dented indeed, the Wildcats got a lot out of the Pirates. Winners of a 10 in a row made the Orange men dizzy at Madison Square Garden. From the deity cam, the payoff to DeHare. And when the 2-3 zone forced the Buccos outside, DeHare drew them out of it. 51-37 the Hall at the half. Syracuse with a sign of life after the break. Lawrence Moten to Mike Hopkins. Beautiful move. And the Pirates lead is still 11. Seton Hall on the way to the biggest margin of victory in the history of the Big East final. Arturas Karščinovas. And as Jerry Walker knocks the Orangemen over like paper-mache bowling pins, it's Seton Hall 103, Syracuse 70. Your tournament MVP is DeHare, 17 points. Either that or it's just
Madison. This may be news, but Bob Knight was trying to dispense a little bit of his opinion to the officials. Chris Reynolds whips it inside. Greg Graham lays it in. Todd Leary to Graham. To Leary, and he's got the 3. 22 in the first half. The 22-point lead for Indiana in the first half. In the second, Andy Kilbride bombs. 23 for him, and the Badgers come back. Michael Finley goes baseline. Wisconsin's within 6. Graham runs the floor, though, finds Calvert Cheney, and it is a 7-point win for Indiana. Greg Graham scores 27. Calvert Cheney 22. Indiana finishes 17-1 in the Big Ten. Bob Knight's teams did better only in 19. Slipper off the missed 3. Lamont Frazier puts it down. Missouri takes the early lead. Anthony Bean for 3 for K-State. Anthony Bean for 3 for K-State. Game's tied at 26. Closing ticks of the clock in the first half. Where are you going with that ESPN table?
Wow.
Reggie Smith at the other end lays it up and in, and there's a larceny arrest at halftime. Norm Stewart's club up by 2 at the break. Tigers in the second half. Mark Atkins downtown. Missouri up by 7. Kansas State comes back. He's not a hockey player. He's a skier. Jones with the 3, and they're within 2. But Javon Kruta puts it in. Auditioning for the Little Caesars ad, perhaps. Pizza, pizza, and they win by 12. So Missouri goes to the NCAA tournament in spite of having lost 7 of its last 8 regular season. Terrence O'Kelly with the shot that Tracy Ware obviously goaltends. Second half, Lucius Harris goes long. Rod Hannibal drops it off to Harris, to Byron Russell. Pretty stuff. And the 49ers are up by 6 late. New Mexico State tries to get within 3. Sam Crawford, clang off iron. Russell ahead. Lucius Harris. That drives the nail through the Vampire's heart. 49ers win it by 8. Seth Greenberg on his way to the tournament. 49ers haven't been to the NCAA tournament in 16 years.
That to Tech coach James Dickey. The Raiders outran the Cougars all day. Lenny Holly beats Anthony Goldwire to the punch. And Lance Hughes was all over the place. 27 points, 2 off the double pump jam. Coach Pat Foster is confused. What did that announcer say about Colgate? He wished he was facing Colgate. Will Flemons dominant inside for Texas Tech. And Coach Dickey and his Texas Quickies did everything right. Even when things went wrong, they went right. A Coy Smith air ball, basket Jason Sasser. Foster having a Rodney Dangerfield attack, and then check this. The Raiders put on the title caps. The coach says, not yet. And they whip them off like the Queen just walked in the room. Tech 88-76, their first SWC title since 86, and in they go in the East against St. John. Finish out the Big Ten season with a ceremonial pass to the spectator. Conzo Martin did that, and then Randy Ayers' team did this. Off the Funderburk Thunder block. The formerly injured Derek Anderson, who has started or was able to start only the last 6 games of the season after the broken hand. Buckeyes by 20. Boilermakers rally. Glenn Robinson gets them back within a 5 spot. Kabong. But the Buckeyes prevail, beating Purdue by 10 and paying it off the steal with Greg Simpson with an amazing dunk. Yep. Gene Cady wondering how many ways he would punish Simpson for that showmanship if it was on his team, or wondering why he looks so much like the Boilermaker mascot. And McCoy from way downtown, bang. He had 10 points in the first 4 minutes, 3 the rest of the game. Does that give it away? Louisville, James Brewer to Greg Minor. Cardinals go up by a deuce. Virginia Commonwealth missed 25 of 39 shots. Cards close it with a 21-10 run. Brewer to Keith Legree to Troy Smith. Louisville 90, VCU 78. Also, Dwayne Morton, who had scored just 10 points in the Louisville semifinal win over UNC Charlotte, made it 24 in this game. Louisville into the Midwest as the 4th seed against the Fighting Tom Mises of Delaware. And Southern and Jackson State for an automatic bid. Terry Timms